Take it.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Let me start by saying that my speech today, I'll put it in mode. It's an introduction to 3D printing. My speech will explain how 3D printing works and how anyone can profit from this amazing hobby. 3D printing was developed in the early 1980s by a gentleman by the name of Hideo Kodama, and later developed even further by another gentleman by the name of Charles Chuck Hull. He did it in the 1990s. The Erie County Public Library has a facility known as the Launchpad that any patron can use. They host 3D printing. This is the printer from the Launchpad. It's a Prusa. It's what they use. What you need to do if you want to access it is get a certification class. It's for free. You sign up either electronically or over the phone, and then they'll let you use their services. The library only charges 2 cents a gram, so they only cover paying for a cost of the following items were made at the downtown library. This is a Dragon's door knocker. This is the US Capitol building. This is either a teapot or a watering pot. This is a dragon. And this is Iron Man. How much a Prusa printer costs. It's Prusa, it's originated in Czechoslovakia. It's very good. That's what the library uses. This is how a 3D printer works. You have the print head. Now, the library uses what's known as a spooled filament. That's a solid filament that looks like a thread, and it's pushed through into the print head through a bearing and a motor, and there's a unit in the print head that superheats the solid into a liquid, and it's jet out the front nozzle. Now, depending on how big the object is, whether it's small, it could take maybe an hour, or if it's large, it could take several hours. If you go look closely, the printing is done in layers, very slowly. Again, they usually do it depending on how big it is. This is the liquid resin. This liquid resin costs $16.99 for 500 milliliters. It's great. Liquid resin is used for 3D models that require a lot of detail. Look at the detail on this object. That's why I use liquid resin. The library uses the spooled solid resin. And the reason why they do that is because they know a lot of patrons are going to be using it. You get more bang for the buck. This is $18.99 for the spool. Comes in different colors. The place where people go to get the templates to put into the 3D printer so that the 3D printer knows what to print is from a place called Thingiverse. You want to stick with free public domain templates. Why pay for it if you can get it for free? This is one of my first things that I was, the day the Earth stood still, with the robot Gort and the alien Klaatu in front of their silver spaceship. This is the template used for Klaatu and Gort. Originally, Gort's head was hollow, so it was very difficult to print it. His head would either come off or cave in, so they had to fill in his head in later templates so that wouldn't be a problem any longer. This is the finished product. This is the flying saucer and Gort and Klaatu. And by the way, Michael Rene, the actor, played in The Day the Earth Stood Still. It's still a classic, 1951. The weight of the saucer is 172 grams, and the weight of the two figures is 6 grams. Again, this is a finished movie, and this is Ringo Starr's version. I think I like Ringo Starr's version better. How to profit from 3D printing. 3D printing is ideal for rare or out-of-print items. These are items that have value to collectors, to people like myself. My tastes lean towards science fiction. The place where you go to buy and sell your 3D wares is a place called Etsy. You register. Everybody is familiar, at least I am, with Captain Kirk's famous hand phaser. I bought a 3D duplicate from Etsy for $21.88. We weighed at the library, it's 49 grams. Everyone's familiar, at least I am, with the original Battlestar Galactica spaceship. We got a small 3D printing representation of it from Etsy for $8.99. We weighed it. It's 59 grams. It's very small. Everyone's familiar, at least I am, with the famous movie Earth versus the Flying Saucers. These are the flying saucers used in the movie. I bought mine from Etsy for $15.27. We weighed it. It's 44 grams. And this is the famous black obelisk from the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. I got a small version of it with the base for $17.94 and only weighs 29 grams. Then we have the famous spaceship from Forbidden Planet. I got that from Etsy for $19.58. This one glows in the dark. It weighs only 49 grams. This is the markup. Take a careful look at how much the markup is. For the flying saucer plus two figures, the markup is 1,023%. Captain Kirk's hand phaser is 2,132%. Battlestar Galactica was the cheapest, only 612% markup. Earth versus the Flying Saucers was 1,630 markup. The obelisk was 2,993% markup, and the Forbidden Planet spaceship was 1,898 markup percent. Printing in medicine. You can get yourself a new nose. Actually, this is an actual representation of a new nose in here. You can get yourself armor for your cat. An artificial heart that you can make with 3D printing. Make an artificial skull. And if need be, you can have a new brain made. That concludes my presentation on 3D printing and how to profit by it. Now, how many of you, after learning how much money you could make, are going to go out and buy a 3D printer? Raise your hands.